Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing?
Good
Can't
morning.
complain.
I'm doing great. How you
Good
doing,
morning.
Mom? What up,
Good.
cuz?
What's going on, family? How y'all doing?
I got some men folk in the house, ladies.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Men folk and kinfolk. Men folk who is kinfolk,
Can't
right?
hold man.
Good morning,
Cuz,
good
thank you for getting
morning.
up this morning with us, man.
Yeah, it's no problem at all. It's no problem at all. I thank you for the invite. This is 100. I love the opportunity to be here. I mean, absolutely, it's a celebration. It's a definitely a some kudos and admiration to you all for being able to just persevere to this particular point, and providing a insight on this amazing book that gives you so much back in life if you're truly paying attention to it.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you,
for
cuz.
rocking with us.
Yeah, it's
So,
good to
Brandon,
have
are
you
we
here,
going to
man.
try
It's,
to do
it's awesome.
Instagram? Are we going to do Instagram this morning? You
Yeah,
out of
I
jail?
sent you the stream key. I think I'm out of jail for right now. I'll probably be back in soon, but for right now, I'm gonna be a good guy. I'm gonna be a good boy. But I'm gonna be a
Man,
bad man
they
in a
put
minute.
you in jail for freedom of speech, right? How about that, y'all?
That's it. That's it. That's it. I ain't here to hurt nobody, but I will if I have, you know.
Well, all right,
What
all
you
right.
say? What Tupac said? I ain't a killer. Don't push me. But happy
Right.
100th day, everybody, to the podcast. I think the biggest shout out and the biggest kudos and the crown has to be put on your head, Mom, for really sticking to this. Even when I went to Mexico and Big Will, you showed up, showed out, and held it down, man, like only you could, man. I appreciate it. But Mom, I really wanted to highlight you as well. Say that I mean, thank you for all the work you do in the back office. You put into this, all the thought you put into this, all the hard work and the heart work. So I just wanted to say I appreciate you, Mom, and happy this day. Today,
I'll
this is
drink to
your day.
that. I'll drink to that.
Drink to that. Will, did you bring your coffee? We do the coffee with the you got any
I have
coffee
some
with you?
water.
You got some wild look.
I have some water.
Daily. No, that's
Good
cool.
morning,
That's cool.
everybody. Brandon, check Instagram for us.
All
Need
right,
to
let's
maybe
see.
go live there.
Think I can go live. Let's see. Nah, they still. I'm restricted until today. It says until April 10th. It's April 10th, so they lying now, man. Yep, it says try again. We certain activity to protect our community. Based on your use, this action will be unavailable until May 10th, 2024.
Today is
Tell
May
tell us
10th.
we made a mistake. I know
All right.
you ain't no tell. Ain't no tell. It's
All
okay.
right.
The people that need it, they know where to find it. They'll, you know.
Cool beans. All right, let's rock with it because I know, Big Will is big man over there. He's got some things to do, so we only got him for a little while.
Oh, okay. Well, we ain't gonna stop from
Yeah.
doing that, but we glad you gave us some time, cause
Yeah, it's no problem. I had to make time for it. I mean, again, it's 100 episodes, and I really look at the perseverance and the passion that drives you to be able to make it to this point, and it's a lot. It's not a lot of people that have that, and so when you really taking a look at the work that's being done, that sets you all apart. And that I just I'm glad to be able to experience it and really see it in action, because there we need more examples like the both of you all. We need more examples for people who want to truly make an impact on the culture and on society by bringing back beneficial information specifically for Black and brown individuals, so that they can be uplifted and empowered to live a life similar to what Dennis Kimbro is trying to illustrate and communicate in the book. So I'm all for it. I think that after you drop this book, let's pick up another book and keep going.
Amen.
yeah,
Amen.
let's keep
Miss Brenda
going.
Davis has already given us some ideas. So again, you guys, especially Brandon and LaWill, I do want to extend the offer again. This platform is not just for me. In fact, it's more for you guys than it is me, because you guys, you know, if it all works out the way I guess it's supposed to. Sometimes it doesn't that way, but this is something I hope that you guys will get a hold of and carry on and pass it down to your children, right? To
Hmm.
get them in in this space of giving back to the world in this way. I already know Tupac's got a voice beyond beyond. But this is for you guys, and I say that to say, whenever and whatever it is you want to do, this platform is open to you. I
Mom.
can't say that enough.
Thank you.
Can't say that enough.
Appreciate that.
So,
We appreciate that. So you ready to rock into it, Mom? Want me to go ahead?
yeah, let's go ahead
Get
and
through?
get started. And for just if I may, just you guys remember, so we're gonna do something special tonight. We're gonna have happy hour tonight, right? Um,
Yeah.
in this form. So join us tonight. I'm thinking of maybe 7:15. I'll just cut it right in the middle, 7 to 7:30. I'm just going to say 7:15. We're going to kick it off. We're going to have some questions for you. We're going to play some games. You can win some money with the right answer. So prepare to come back to the barbecue tonight. Bring some folk with you. Bring them with you to the barbecue, right? Tell them we got the food. They don't have to bring a plate tonight. We got it all. So for this morning, it's our regular. Um, Will, you going to join us tonight? You're not going to be able to tonight, right?
Well, what time are we? What time is that? My time. How about that?
8:15.
Eight
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 15 my
15.
time. Nah, that shouldn't be an issue.
We
Let
know you
me.
got.
I'll follow up, but let that should be an issue though. I should be back from
Okay.
the gym by
So
then.
I was asking because if not, then what I'd like to do is go ahead and let's talk about at the end of the show your favorite show. Before we get off, I want you to give your favorite, and then if you're back on with us tonight, maybe you could pick another one in addition to that. So we're
Okay.
gonna. All right. Over to you, Brandon.
All right, great. Well, I thank you both for being here, and thank all of you, the listeners and watchers, whether you're on YouTube Live or Instagram Live. Hopefully, Instagram will go. It looks like it's trying something over here, but we will see. But if you have not been here and this is the first time, you picked a great day to find this video and to join this movement. What we're going to in this season cast for the last 100 days is reading through Kimbro's uh, uh, Motivate African American Success. He is the author of Think and Grow Rich, Black Choice. And a little bit of this book, it will help you focus on the thoughts, the attitudes, and the deeds to the achievement of your true goal. So in 365 powerful motivations, each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro leads us to discover how to use that moment and our own gift to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become enough to know when to say yes and when to no, and how to look in answers to life's challenges. So each motivation begins with words from such distinguished rated African Americans as Malcolm Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Galt, Bill Cosby, Owen, Mother Hale, Reverend John Sullivan, and hundreds of others. So this treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year, but will last you a lifetime. A lifetime. So just think about that, Mama. What? I feel like you got something for us that I don't know about. But
I
that's
just
tonight,
love the
right?
reading of the. I just love when we read that part because it says so much. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's your wake up. It's your wake up call to do the things that you have learned. It gives you the ability, hopefully, to apply the things you've learned. You know, because we can learn it, we can get it, we can learn it. It's kind of like you can eat it, but if you don't digest it, it does you more harm than it does good. So the back when you read that, it
Mm-hmm.
just inspires me. So I get a bit lifted. So that's all. That's all.
I could see it in your when I would look up at the screen. I would see you kind of getting lifted up every time. So I just wanted to make sure you ain't have nothing in your hat.
No, I'm gonna save it for happy hour tonight.
Okay. All right.
Nightlife.
I'm gonna hold you to it. I'm gonna hold you to it because
All
it
right.
just I feel it on.
Okay.
It's something you got for us. But today is May the 10th, and today's passage is titled none other than Happy Hour. But there's a question mark at the end. I want everybody to notice that question mark. I haven't read this yet, but I saw the title, I think yesterday when you told me to flip the page, and you said, look what the title for tomorrow is, and it was Happy Hour. But it says, and we might have to change that on day 100 down there, Mom. It says Happy Hour period, and it's Happy Hour question mark. So I don't know what that,
Oh, look at
I don't know
thee.
what, I don't know what that means, but
I don't
we're
know
about
why
to
I put a
find out.
period. I think it's just because you were supposed to point that out, because I never really put a period behind any of them. What is happening?
It had
All
to be.
things are coming our way.
It was meant to be, right?
Yep.
All things are coming our way. I like that one too. I like that title from that one. But today's title is Happy Hour. Like Happy Hour? Question mark. And the distinguished African American that gives us our quote today is from none other than Stevie Wonder, singer and entertainer, an icon, who
Mm.
said, "Before I ride with a drunk, I'll drive myself."
Hmm.
Now that's coming from Stevie Wonder now, y'all. Stevie Wonder. Y'all know what do we all know about Stevie Wonder? He can't see a thing.
He can't see.
He can't see a thing. He said, but before I ride with a drunk, I'll drive myself.
And you know what, Brandon,
Yeah,
if I may, before you get started, and if y'all, I'm telling y'all, don't let this be just me. How many of you have said even Stevie Wonder can see that?
something.
Have
He
y'all
got his. I'm not gonna
have
say
y'all
he's
said
blind.
that?
He's visually impaired. There's
Yes.
difference.
Yes.
Look, the
And I've
man
said
can't
that to
see.
people.
He can do a lot of things, but the man can't see. You
But
know, it
he'll
ain't.
drive before you ride with a drunk.
Yeah, it ain't. You know, and it's not a shot at him. It's just that's how that God put him in that position. Would Stevie Wonder be Stevie Wonder if he wasn't blind? Can y'all imagine that? I'm sure he's an amazing talent. He really is. He's an iconic talent. But there's something about the fact that this man plays piano, knows music the way that he does, and he cannot see the keys. It's just something about it. So like when I say the man can't see a thing, it's almost a compliment to his genius, because
Mhm.
if anybody could drive a car, it's Stevie Wonder. And not see, it's Stevie Wonder. So if he can play a piano the way that he does, I wouldn't be surprised if he can do something behind the wheel.
All right,
Um,
figure it
and,
out.
in his quote, you know, I don't think I'd be there with him, but I will definitely be there to watch it, you know. And I'd rather ride with him before I ride with a drunk too. So that's an interesting quote from Stevie Wonder. Before
It's
I
also
ride with hmm?
it's also another example of understanding and accepting who you are, what the gifts that God has given to you. And
Mm,
imagine seeing being blind as a gift.
Hmm.
right, right,
Imagine that. That's
right.
faith in God. That is not allowing your circumstances, right, to own
Hmm.
your life. It is to make your life, to
To,
grow your life, to grow you, and to help others, and to help build the kingdom of God, right? So
right,
imagine looking at your stuff as, you know, what you call your stuff rather than stuff, but a gift, a
right.
blessing,
He could
a
have
blessing.
submitted to his. He could have submitted to his disability, but
Mm-hmm.
he could have submitted to his condition. He could have submitted to his circumstances, but he submitted to God.
Hmm.
You know, and I think in doing that, there's no weapon formed against you that can prosper. And even if some of the conditions that we have, our circumstances, we perceive them as weapons, but maybe God isn't given that as a weapon. It's just our perspective, as we read yesterday. It's the way that we view these things, to where it could be our heaven, our gift, or it could be our hell and our curse. But the determining factor is our faith and our belief, and our
Absolutely.
commitment to purpose.
Yeah, and I would say to add on to that is, a lot of times we take ailments or anything that sets us apart and what society would tell you is a negative context, that we put it in a space to where we don't see that being attached to our purpose. But every trauma, every issue, every frustration, every disadvantage, I would say that you might have experienced, or you might be experiencing, or you might have to live with, because it's something physically or maybe even something mentally, it's still attached to your purpose. It's still a story that comes from behind it that allows you to share that love of God with one another, in a sense of, look at how I feel and how I love despite thereof, despite what it is that I've been through, what I have experienced. And I think Stevie is saying in this context that I'm control my controllables. And this is one of my
Mm,
controllables. I could tell you, no, I don't want to ride with you. I'd rather take the dangers of me trying to drive with my me being visually impaired than for me to jump into a car with somebody that I don't know what direction they're going to take me in. So I trust
Mhm.
God to lead my way as He's led me this entire time to be the person that I've become to this world.
Yeah.
and think about that. I know we've not even gotten into the passage, but think about what Stevie is saying there, and then think about your life and the people that you spend your time with. The people, are they drunk? Right? Are
Mm-mm.
they drunk? Not by alcohol, like drunk
Mhm.
as it relates to life, the way they live their life. And so often we feel like we have to um, be with people. We cannot sever this relationship.
Mhm.
But if it's not feeding you, if people are not feeding you in the way or in the manner that you need to be fed for your goal, for your true goals, if they're not feeding you, they're taking away from you. Period.
Auntie, I'm gonna kick it back over to Brandon so you can read the passage. But it's funny that you said that. I've just had to challenge a couple of people who they
Mm,
consider to be my friends here in the last couple of days. You know, as far
yeah.
as their communication, as far as their belief system, and as far as their consistency, I would say. You know, there's a level of consistency that attaches to being friends that sometimes we set aside and we give grace to. But in the same token, if you're being intentional and purposeful about having and maintaining that relationship with that friend or whoever that person may be, then you're going to be genuine about it and make sure that you uphold it. But if it's one sided, then I don't consider you to be a friend. So I challenge people. You know, if I'm always going to show up for you, if you ain't going to show up for me, then I'm going to tell you about yourself.
That's true, man. That's true. And like you, sometimes we can't be attached to friendships, right? Like there's or anything. We have to be attached to our purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people grow together, and sometimes people grow apart. And I can't challenge other people on, or I can challenge them on whether or not they're going to grow with me, or if we're growing in different directions. I'm going to ask. I'm going to take inventory of the people in my circle because I
Mm-hmm.
would rather 4 quarters than 100 pennies. It's very hard to keep up with 100 pennies. It's
Right.
really
Mm,
hard to look at that and say, oh yeah, all 100 are there. But if I got my 4 quarters, we're solid. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's a
So
blessing.
yeah, for sure. So man, kudos to you for doing that, and I hope it spurs a change and a some type of positive catalyst inside of the people's lives that you do maybe have that friction with right now, but I pray that it gets resolved for some higher purpose later on. You know, what I mean, as long
Yeah.
as you do right,
Absolutely.
that we get the rest of God, right?
100% agree, V. 100% agree. That's really why I would say something because most times we don't say anything. You know, we need exit interviews for relationships.
ooh.
Mm,
You need to interview people before we get into a relationship with them. Like,
wow.
let me Starbucks or something. Sit down and have a conversation.
Right.
Communication, effective. So, all right, Brandon, let's get into this passage.
All right, man. I love this with both of y'all. I like the energy. I love this. Just thank y'all so much for the conversation. So happy hour. Before I ride with a drunk, I will drive myself, says Stevie Wonder. And the passage goes as follows. Two brothers sat at a cluttered kitchen table. The house reeked of stale alcohol. Flies hovered over piles of dirty dishes. Dad was drunk on the couch. One child was perched in front of the television while the other was immersed in his schoolwork. One father, two boys. One situation, an alcoholic father, an
Mm.
absent mother. Both boys lived out the same hell on earth with daily verbal and physical abuse and neglect. One brother ran with a fast crowd who helped him find an escape. Like his father, he found it in drugs and alcohol. This second generation alcoholic lived from bottle to bottle, barely finding odd jobs, earning just enough money to continue his habit. The second brother buried himself in his schoolwork. A teacher praised his efforts and consequently he excelled. He worked hard and won a scholarship at an Ivy League school. He went on to become a well respected lawyer. One day, a newspaper chose to write a profile on their local hero. The reporter asked the young man, "Is it true your father was an alcoholic?" "It's true. I had an alcoholic father. That's why I am. That's why I am where I am today. I decided early, and I decided early on I wasn't going to waste my life the way he did." Meanwhile, the first brother continued on his path of destruction. Eventually, his employer gave him the choice of losing his job or entering a rehabilitation clinic. He chose the latter. The counselor in the rehab program listened as he described his childhood. "I had an alcoholic father. That's why I am where I am today. Same home,
Mm.
same father, but different outcomes. Thank goodness we can control the outcomes of our lives."
Mm.
And the affirmation that we read 3 times, one time for me, one time for you, and this time, one time for my cousin Lil Will. So we're going to say it 4 times. And for the people that I know you're going to invite later on tonight at the 100th show and our real happy hour. Mom put the exclamation point behind it instead of the question mark. You see that, Mom? Did you do that on purpose?
You told me to. I did it when you.
I said
Oh,
put
I
the
had to
question mark.
change that.
I said put the question mark. It's just perfect though, because it's the exclamation part. Because tonight we're gonna put the point on there.
Ah, well, I don't know. I guess I'm not listening this morning. It's no, not. I did what it's supposed to be. He made a mistake in the book.
Is that what it is? Is then
Yeah,
the Kimbro fault? Oh
I
Lord.
heard explanation. I don't know what you question
Will,
mark.
Will, Will. They love to be held until they held accountable, man.
Now, what we ain't gonna do now, because
I'm
I
just
will
messing.
get Barbara. I will get Miss Barbara
Whoa,
on
whoa,
here.
whoa,
I
Your
did that
mama.
just. I
Now,
did
what
that
we
I'm
just
not
to
just
mess
gonna
with you.
here.
do this
Don't
season
look. Don't
is
pull
talk
Auntie
about
Barbara on
mamas.
me. Don't pull Will Mama on me, man.
Because
I'm
I
just.
will get Miss Barbara on
Ooh,
here.
Lord.
Somebody.
I'm just joking. I got a little extra reinforcement today.
It will be a question mark behind that happy hour.
Oh man, I'm just messing. Let me read this affirmation. Y'all done made me lose my page, man, laughing at you.
And I'm not
So
changing it.
you're changing it? Okay. It's
No.
exclamation. But the affirmation that we gonna read, we'll just keep it 3 times. Is only I am in control of my life. I will take full responsibility for my circumstances. Again, only I am in control of my life, and I will take full responsibility for my circumstances. And last time, if you said it out loud, these last 2 times, say it internally. If you said it internally, say it out loud. It's at the bottom of your screen. Only I am in control of my life. I will take full responsibility for my circumstances. All right, back over to who wants it? Mom, you want it, or Will? You want to take
I'm
this?
sending
What do
it to I'm sending it to Big Will, Big Little Will, because of time and
you?
just because I want to, and I'm mama.
Okay. Brandon has started.
Trying to call me out on this live episode.
Boy,
Yeah.
God, dog, man.
she ain't gonna let it go, man. I'm telling you.
Oh boy, I don't believe Brandon is a drunk, but I definitely just jumped in this car with him.
Ooh, okay.
Oh
Mm.
man, interestingly enough, I didn't get a chance. Like I didn't see the affirmation before I made the comment about what Stevie said, so I just find it quite
Yes.
interesting based on my response to his quote, and then looking at the affirmation. That I'm in control of my life, and I will take full responsibility for my circumstances. And looking at the dynamic, there's duality within the household and multiple households that we all face. Black, white, brown, it doesn't really matter what color that you are. This is just a society and a humanity issue where you can have the same upbringing, but you can turn out differently.
Mm.
Looking at the one brother who actually became an alcoholic, and looking at the other brother who decided to put all of that energy and effort that would considerably make him an alcoholic. He decided to divulge and kind of engulf himself in books and studies, and even to the point where he was able to go to an Ivy League school. And for me, what really resonates with the passage and what really hits home, because I think, I have three older sisters. I have on my mom's side, on my dad's side, there's a older brother and an older sister, and we're all different. I think Brandon, looking at your two wonderful and beautiful kids, they're both different. um we're all different. We all take little pieces and parts from our parents and what we decided to kind of make our own and who we decided to be. But one thing that I decided not to do for myself was, like I tell Glenn all the time, and she's the only child. You don't have to repeat what your parents do. Like, you have full control over that perspective. You have full control over your behaviors, and whatever that result of your actions and your decisions is, you have full control over that. So you get a chance to write your own narrative, and that's been a big key point as of late, is writing your own narrative. And if you want to have the same narrative as one of your parents, then yes, you can follow in their footsteps. But if you're trying to do something different, the only way to have something different is to do something that hasn't been done before, and that usually sets you apart from your family. And I commend the brother in the passage for saying, okay, instead of me, spending my efforts and my passions to drink my life away, I'm going to put it in books. And then the other brother just using his parent as an excuse. Nah, they birthed us into this world. That's where the butt started and it ended. Then what you decided to do after they did their best with trying to raise you into the person that they hoped and prayed that you would be is totally on you. And you have every opportunity and ability to change your circumstance, but you have to take control of the things that you can't control.
Absolutely.
What do y'all think about where it says second generation alcoholic? That stood out to me, but also because the way to change the generational curses is to change your behavior, your action, the way that you look at it. Don't do what our former generation did. And there's always going to be some things that we don't need to pick up, right, from our previous generation. But how about the son who decided, I'm going to be different? That's the first generation. And perhaps that is the start of a better thing to catch on or to do or to pass on to your children, right? So they see a different you. But you guys know that still people can have tapped in, turned on parents who pour into them, and they still may become an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that there's never a for sure thing, but I'll tell you what is, if you continue to do the things that, like the alcoholic, if he would have made the choice, hey, I'm just gonna drink. I don't want to do the other. I don't want to change my life, right? He was in control of that. So no matter the decision, no matter your life or what it looks like, you're in control of your decisions that you make. And that will determine your life, the path of your life. And that's the important. You're going to be that second generation, whatever. Are you going to change it by changing your behavior, your focus, your outlook on it, your action towards it, by changing your thoughts, right? So I just thought that was interesting. Second generation alcoholic, but flip that thing over. It's starting a whole new generation, a more positive generation that you can pass down.
And B,
And
before kicking it back to you, I think to your point, Auntie, is this you identifying what that thing is that's going to be a detriment to where you're trying to accomplish in life. But you ultimately have to have a vision for your life, because you won't be able to distinguish, hey, I should or should not do this, or I should or should not repeat this action or this behavior from my parent, because it's not going to be conducive to where it is that I want to end up at the end of this thing called life.
right, your true goals. What's your true goals? Right, over to you, B.
Okay. It says that I'm backstage. Can y'all still see me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. For some reason, it said I went backstage. I don't know if it
you
was
did for a minute. Something happened there. I thought yeah, you did for a minute.
Huh, interesting. Okay, cool. Because on mine, I just see you and Will. I was like, oh man, they're gonna kick me out. But one of the
Instagram
things,
kicked you out.
Right. One of the things by the way, Mom, I did send you a new key. Sometimes their day starts at like 8 or 9. So if you don't mind, check that out for me, and I might be able to go live now. We can just try
Will
that one
do.
more time.
Doing it now.
As far as this passage, one of the things I thought that I should bring up is how we can have a position of gratitude no matter the situation that we have, right? And also look at one of the ways that I think we can heal generational traumas is by looking back one generation and noticing what generational traumas did our parents overcome that benefited us, right? How have I benefited from my mother overcoming maybe a generational trauma that her father or her mother had, or something that she saw that may have not been the best path in one regard. And it's not taking anything away from her parents, my grandparents, or anything like that. But we all have something that we can prove upon, like you said, Mom, upon the legacy of our bloodline, of our families, of our circumstances, of our environments, of our communities, right? It's not to say that the last generation didn't do something. It's saying, what can I do to move the needle, to move the ball down the field? And Will, you'll appreciate this with your football background. Sometimes, I won't say sometimes, in most situations, when you're calling a play, right? You can't make all of your plays Hail Marys. You can't go for a touchdown every single play. Sometimes you got to move the ball down the field. And I think sometimes we get caught up, and this is just, even personally, and trying to make the touchdown. And really, we just need to move the ball down the field. We need the first down instead of the touchdown.
Right.
Can we get a first down? Can we just keep moving the ball down the field and not and look at it that way? Because sometimes, especially as African Americans, the when you have over 400 years of trauma, the momentum of that being passed down from generation to generation, it can seem insurmountable sometimes. I mean, we've dealt with redlining, we've dealt with families being broken up, so the family unit and the boundaries for what's what is different. We call aunties cousins, and we call cousins sisters. We have different blended style families, and even the way that we see people in our relationships, right? And so when we say brother, or we say what up sis, or what up brother, that really means something, because if you think about it, we're all related. African Americans are some of the most closely knit and tied as far as relatives out of any people in the world. Why? We were bred, unfortunately. The biggest man and the strongest man from this plantation would go down to another plantation, and they would make him procreate with the women from the other plantation so that they can produce better stock. You see what I'm saying? So we were literally cross-pollinated into each other, and our own bloodlines were intermixed. So when we say brother, what up, brother? You really are another me. We are that close, right? We're closer than many other peoples because of that, because of our experience, because of our shared story. And that's why I'm so grateful for this book, because it shows, it tells it gives us motivation, encouragement, and inspiration and affirmation through the lens and context of our shared story, right? And like that, the shared story in this case of the two brothers, they have a shared story and having an absent mother, missing and lacking the nurturing, right? And they have the shared story of having an alcoholic father, who's there physically, but not there mentally, not there spiritually, not there emotionally. Now, what they do with that pain, because in either case, that's trauma. In either case, even in the case of the man who is successful by our standards and becoming a lawyer, that is not the limit of success. How is he to his family? How is he to his son? How is he to his community, right? Not just in
Maybe
public,
he's
but
a functioning alcoholic.
maybe, or just
Maybe.
what is what even in private, like what what's the substance
Of the
of
lawyer.
this man, right? Instead of it just, so I'm looking a little deeper and saying, okay, yeah, he's a lawyer, but is that the limit to our success? Is money the only motivator? Is making good passing grades in school the only motivator? Because at the end of the day, we don't get to take that with us. We don't get to take that with, and I think Will, you're a little frozen on my end. I don't know if
Actually, he had to pop out, so he's going to join us tonight.
oh, okay, I
Yeah,
understand, man.
yeah.
Love to have you, Will. Appreciate you, brother. Wish I could have got to say goodbye to you, but I know you. You know, your dad and businessman, so you do your thing, man. I love you. Um, but back to what I was saying. I want us to really focus on the shared story that we have, what we can do with it, and being grateful for the generational traumas that have been overcome by your parents, and that give you motivation and inspiration to do it yourself, right? um but and also looking at the substance of what success is. Like, this is daily motivations for success. So every single time I read one of these passages, I'm saying, okay, well, what is success here? What does success look like here? Is it deeper than just being a lawyer, you know? So I think about these things, and at the end of the day, who knows? Even at the point of the man choosing to go to rehab, right? We're just at a chapter in this man's life. We don't know the end of this man, right? So maybe this could be the turning point for both of their situations, right? This could be the turning point where the man in the rehab says, and I'm saying this just to not to change the story, but to give you guys the full potentiality of human life and human decision and our control over our circumstances at any point in time. Whether
Mm.
you're on the bad end of your trauma and it's ended you in rehab, or you're on the good end, as it seems, and it has you a corner office, there are still traps available to you if you do not stay focused on your goals, and if you're in the positive side, and there are still opportunities to you if you are on the bad side of that situation, if you only change your habits, your mind, your perspective, and use your circumstances as a multiplier for your benefit. So we say, are you a product of your environment, or is your environment a product of you? Right? At what point does your environment become a product of you? So you can have the same story, the same chances, and end up on two different sides of the track. But no matter what side of the track that you're on, know that you can get on the side that you want to be on if you only decide, change your mindset, change your habits, change your circumstances. Why? Because, like the affirmation said, only I am in control of my life. Outside of the majesty of God and the decree of God, only I am in control of my life, and I
Mhm.
will take full responsibility for my circumstances. And when you take responsibility for your circumstances, right, which I'm not sure that either of these men truly did just yet,
Mm.
truly take responsibility for their circumstances, right? Because both of them said, my father's the reason why. I disagree. Your response to what your father did is why. It's more about you. It's you had the ability to respond, right? So if you take full responsibility at any point, you did that. So sometimes, trust me, we can build crutches that make us successful. We can. You can have the situation of an abusive father, right? Like Joe Jackson. And he produced a diamond from all of that pressure in Michael Jackson, right? As far as from what we can see, right? But if you spoke to Michael Jackson, he would tell you all the time that he's happy, but he dealt with depression. He dealt with the intrusions that came from fame and not having his childhood. You see what I'm saying? So we always have challenges, even though the perception is success. Our ability to respond and our responsibility is that we take possession, even after our childhood, after our times of innocence, we take possession of our own outcomes. And given that both the gentlemen in this situation said, "I'm here because of my father," it did not align with the fact that it said that we all take personal responsibility. We took action. We took two different actions, and maybe we were coping. There, I've known people that studying was their coping mechanism. Workaholic. They
That's
became
what I was going to
workaholics.
say,
They were
Brandon.
working so much because they were coping from having to deal with the trauma. They wouldn't
Yeah.
look up at their father beating their mother because it was too much to see. I would rather see some words. I would rather do algebra. I would rather do physics because that isn't as hard as what is in front of my eyes.
Mm,
You know
mm,
what I mean? And so I still think if we're growing, if we're trying to use that space
yeah.
uh, to if we don't use it thoughtfully and purposefully, we can grow in one way and deny growth in another way, right? I know therapists that have therapists. You guys see what I'm putting together here? I know therapists that have therapists. The people giving the help are the people that need the help. I know people majoring in child psychology that have had childhood trauma, and now they want to help children. And I say to them, make sure that you deal with your trauma too.
Right.
Make sure that you reveal it and heal it in whatever way that God guides you to. But seek that first, ye the kingdom of heaven, right? Because if not, we can be, no matter what path we're on, evil is there to dissuade us, to misguide us, to trip us, to trap us. But if we stay focused on the straight path, and if we continue a methodology of purifying ourselves and taking inventory ceaselessly and taking captive every thought and every situation and even and reflecting about our past and starting from a point of gratitude and saying, what did I have? What did I have? And that's what I did. I took something so little and I made it good. So now it's not from a point of lack or scarcity, but from a point of abundance and providence. So that's generally what I saw in it. To touch on a different note.
Wow, Brandon, really, 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 really good. Um, so much to take away, but almost too much. But I love the way that you broke it down and gave us a different perspective. And I'm thinking twice about the success of the second brother. You know, maybe he had an addiction that was outside of alcohol, right? Maybe there was an addiction. So it becomes, I've added the question mark to happy hour, question marks.
Mm-hmm.
Is it happy hour for you? And what does that mean? And our
Right.
quote says, before I ride with a drunk, I'll drive myself. I'm going to change that to before I live with a drunk, right? I'll live by myself, with myself. Because the
Mm-hmm.
battle, in my opinion, and I've said this, the battle is not with people. It wasn't with this father. That was the father's battle. It did not have to be the boys, the battle of the sons, right? And if it was their battle, if they took that battle on, what was in their control was how they take it on, what they do with it, what they allow it to do to them. So is it happy hour? What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
And are you riding with a drunk, with the drunk version of yourself, with the first generation, the second generation
Mm-hmm.
of something? Or did you decide that this is my life? That was my father's life. That was my mother's life. These things happen. These were the circumstances. However, I do not have to pick them up so I don't have to put them down, right? And something else you said about the success, Brandon, and I put a comment out. Um, you remember yesterday it talked about the freedom of the quote was the freedom of slaves is measured by the length of their chains.
Mm-hmm.
Something you said there made me think of this, and I'm going to put it back out there. And I want your opinion on that. You can add links to your chains that will make you successful. Do y'all get that?
One more time.
You can add, and remember yesterday, it was the freedom of slaves is measured by the length of their chains. And I'm saying that, like, we can add things to our chains that make us successful, look successful,
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
look successful. It came to
but
me
it's
quick, so maybe I
another
didn't word
link
it
in the chain.
properly. But it does, because success, remember, well, what's your definition of success? Is it the six figures? Um, the big house, the most fancy car every few years. Is that success? Or is success the guy that says, I don't know how you guys are so controlled? The homeless person who says,
Mm,
I don't know how you guys do what you do.
yeah,
That sees himself as more free than someone who has a job, money, all the food they want, all the things they want. They're able to see themselves as blessed and free.
yeah. One of the most intelligent people I've met was, I remember in college, one of the most intelligent people I met at University of Tennessee was a homeless man we called Tumbleweed. I don't know where Tumbleweed is now
Did
because
I meet Tumbleweed? Is
I
that
don't
one
think
that I've met?
I don't think you did, but I've told you about him because I
Okay,
did a like a little project where
right.
I would be homeless with him and ate horrible things. I don't even want to tell you all the stuff we did, and the type of life that he lived. But man, this man knew multiple languages. This
Mhm.
man was smart as a whip. I would sit there and talk to him about my I had this class, engineering fundamentals 102 or 101, whatever it was. I forget which one it was, but I could have discussions about physics with him very easily. And I mean, this man was homeless. I mean, smelled homeless, looked homeless, appreciated a place to wash his clothes. You know, asked if do you have an extra toothbrush? You know, I don't care if you've used it. You know what I mean? Different things. I mean,
Mhm.
this. I mean, the things that we just look by, like how many people have an extra toothbrush just sitting around, and he's like, you want that? You know what I mean? But I remember him being so intelligent and me being so disappointed in myself, to be honest. Like disappointed in the fact that like I had these assumptions of what he would be like based on his circumstances and what type of life that he lived. And I noticed how free he was. I
Mhm.
noticed how he didn't have to pay a rent. I noticed how happy he was when he heard the sound of the train that came through Knoxville, because to him it signified that he could move somewhere for free because he could just hop on the train and ride
Oh,
that
wow.
darn train all the way down. So it gave him like excitement when he would hear the train go, ah, he would hear the horn. He just kind of look up and smile, and you could see the memories. When
Like
people
my
have these,
ride is here.
yeah, when people
Hmm.
reflect on memories, they often look to the left side. That's a way that you can tell if somebody's lying or if they're really recounting what happened. Is if when they start looking up to the left, that means they're recalling memories, right? Sometimes if they look to the right or they look down, they're trying to figure it out and make it up as they go. But that's a sidebar. But I remember seeing him like look up and almost see his own memories of places that he's been, and he was a mixed heritage. He said his grandfather was a Buffalo soldier, but he looked as if he was like a dark-skinned white man. But I knew he had something in him, and he said, so he had this history and all this stuff, but he was a homeless man named Tumbleweed. And why do they call you tumbleweeds? It's because wherever the wind blows, that's where a tumbleweed goes. You know. So,
I
and
like that.
he in my opinion, was one of the most free people that I remember meeting. You know. So I didn't mean to go on too much of a tangent there, but even despite his situation, I'm sure there's a billionaire somewhere that has to wake up every morning and do this and do that and talk to this and go to this meeting and that. And he might be jealous of Tumbleweed one day with his freedom and not having so many attachments. So I know we're getting off, but I wanted to shout out Tumbleweed. I hadn't seen him since then, but I hope he's okay, alive, and still free.
Yeah. So Brandon, just a quick reminder, you guys will be on tonight, 7. I'm gonna set it for 7:15 just to give it a little edge. Um, if not on Facebook, it'll be on YouTube as well. And if Brandon's stays out of jail today, it'll be on Instagram as well, right?
Yep.
I want to put this question out there, and no shade on parents. I'm a parent, and Brandon, I want you to answer the question for me later.
Oof. Okay.
Um, you complete you complete this for yourself, and if you want to share later, that's fine. I had an blank father. That's why I am where I am today. I had an or a blank mother. That's why I am where I am today. And if you want to go a little bit further with it, that's why I am who I am today. That's why I am not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of play with this. And again, no shades on parents because, parents do the best that they can do with what they have. It's like Brandon said about the child therapist who had traumatic experiences as a child. Those are the ones, and sometimes it steers us towards trying to help others not go down the path that we chose to go down and that we're still traveling. So you have to heal the inner child no matter your profession.
I think I
You
have
have
the
to
answer.
heal.
I think I have an answer, and it's a different kind of answer.
You have the answer from you gonna give it to me live?
I think so. I thought I'm. It's the one that resonates with me, and I don't think you're gonna like the answer because it's not gonna feed that thing. But it's my perspective on it. I
I think
wouldn't
I
fill
know
the
what it is.
I wouldn't fill the blank in.
You what?
I would not fill the blank in. I would say I had a mother. That's why I am where I am today. I had a father, and that's why I am where I am today. And I could
Okay.
change where to who because
Okay.
my description of it is my take on it. That doesn't mean that it's the way that it was. When
Okay.
when when people have when there's a disagreement between people anyway, or even if there's not, people can see the same thing, right, and see it differently,
Right.
right. So what I say and what I'm trying to purify myself to be able to do is be grateful. Start from a real point of gratitude without judging it.
Mm-hmm.
Because of whatever word I put before that
Mm-hmm.
has a connotation to being positive or negative,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm just grateful that I was born
Mm-hmm.
and I have the ability to make decisions. I had a mother, if you want to say anything, I had a mother that decided to keep me. And I'm here. And I could have not been here. I'm sure there were people telling you, don't have this baby. You got to do this and this and this, and don't have his baby. You got this and this. There's a million things that could have swayed you one way or another way. I'm sure people far from you and people close to you, people that I love and know and that know and love me now, might have said, Tammy, I don't know. But Tammy had me. I
Mm-hmm.
had a mother. I had a father. No matter what the situation was about that, I was raised with a father. Matter of fact, I had more than one. I had more than one male role figure that called me son. Two, I appreciate that.
Mm.
I appreciate that. So I don't see it as a thing of lack. I see it as an abundance. I get to now pull from these people's lives, from their context and from their story, and learn from it, not judge it, but learn from it. Because if I'm judging them, I'm judging myself. I come from them. It's like children that deal with divorce and you hear one parent talk about the other parent. It's like you talking about mama and I'm half of my mama. So you talking
Mm.
about half of me, right? And so what kind of talk do I do to myself? And I say, man, I have a mother. That's why I am where I am today. I had a father. No blank needed. That's why and who that's why I am where I am and why I am who I am. And
Right.
I really like that because it leaves the canvas blank for me to paint with the
Your own
brush of my
story.
own purpose, my own
Yeah.
inspiration, and
Yeah.
I can create the picture of life that I want. You know what I
And
mean?
the beauty in the question, and Brandon, thank you for that. The beauty in the question, and let me say this, it does not have to be, and I wasn't saying it for it to be
Right.
a negative or a positive. It's an opportunity for us to reflect because I'm going to answer it for myself as well. It'll be personal for me, but it gives you an opportunity to
Mm-hmm.
think, the ability to think that will help you because again, truth be told, I don't care what you're going through, what your circumstances are, where you came from, if you had a mama, if you had a daddy, if grandmama raised you, if grandpa, if auntie raised you, if you were adopted. Truth be told, it's not them, Brandon, it's you.
You.
Wherever you are, that's why you're there. You're why you're there. So it's a question to ponder on and for you to be really honest with yourself. And hopefully when you are done processing the question and the answers, you will realize that I had a choice to be either brother or sister. I had a chance to create my own picture with my own canvas with the colors that I chose. And that's when it's happy hour.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's happy hour. And um this quote from Stevie Wonder makes me, and I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but there's a young boy, you need to Google this. He's blind but he plays football. They allow him to he wanted to play football and they let him do so, right? And you probably thinking how in the world is that possible? Look up the video. Young male, young blind male plays
Wow.
football.
Mom, I
Yep.
remember my first wrestling match in high school. My very first wrestling match was against a blind man, a blind
Wow.
young man. Yep. You ain't coming to none of my wrestling matches
No,
because
I
you ain't
didn't. I
want to
knew
see
he was
me
gonna say
fight.
that. No, I didn't. I didn't.
I
I
was like,
didn't.
wow, yeah, you should have been there. I'm
No,
just
I shouldn't. That was too close for comfort. If I really shouldn't have been there if I was trying to figure out how I could get in the ring if I needed to. So imagine what I would have did if I had full access to just run out there.
yeah. But he
Yeah.
was anyway. He was blind, and I remember when we started the
Did you
wrestling match.
win?
I did, but I ain't gonna lie to you. I was
I'm sorry. I had to say that.
no, you good.
Like,
But
did you win?
man, but no, he beat plenty of people. He really, I mean, he was tough. He really because
I'm
they
glad he
they
didn't
make
beat
you
you because I would have had to second guess your game now. Like, dang.
no. What they did is you would have to
No, I'm
keep
joking, y'all.
contact
I
with them
shouldn't.
at all times. You would have to and when the blind people, you have to touch them before you start. You all have to you kind of touch each other's wrists, and then
Hmm.
the rep goes, blows the whistle, and y'all go. So you have to keep contact. And that
Right.
boy was tough. But I want to say one thing before about this passage. Never count anybody out. You don't know what chapter of their book you're in. So I think about the guy who went to the rehab. He's at rehab. We see a guy that's at his lowest of lows, seemingly, right? And then you see a guy at the height, the brother at the height, right? It could easily change for them in a night. I think about my late grandfather who passed away, and they had his service after the church. They had the reception, or the repast and all that. So they had it at the ADA place, or the AAA place. I'm sorry, the Alcoholics Anonymous place. And he had helped so many people because he had been an alcoholic and a musician, all these other things.
Good
He had
point.
been an alcoholic and had changed his life and had now been years separated from alcoholism. And he had helped countless people change their lives. They were in there crying harder than the family members because of how much they said that he did for them. Did I have that much of a relationship with him? No. But he touched other people's lives. And I would rather take the benefits of knowing what he did with the very same thing that may have separated him from me. He used that to help others in the space that he was in. I would rather take the benefit of knowing that my grandfather did this with me, as opposed to taking with me and being attached to, oh, I didn't know him that well because during much of my childhood, he was an alcoholic. You know, I can see the light shine off of, you know, a piece of glass in the dirt or in the sand, and still appreciate the light, even though it's a shattered piece of glass. I like the way the light hits you. You know what I mean? So
Good
like,
point.
what can we take from that? This could be the point where that second brother goes and becomes that mentor to somebody who's dealing with alcoholism and helps somebody be a better father, right? So and it could be the point to where the lawyer loses everything from a calamity, from a blind spot that he hadn't seen within himself. You know what I mean? Because trust me, I've been to some heights, and I've had blind spots, and I've been to some lows, and I've had vision. I've had clear sight from the lowest of lows, and I've had blind spots from the highest of highs. And I think we all have that potential, and I think we would be remiss if we did not see that in this story. All right, so that's all I
Right.
got.
All right. So tonight, 7:15, the real happy hour, right? Come rock with us. Don't have to bring anything to this one. We got it all set out for you. Eat your Wheaties, meaning go back, review some things. We're going to share our favorite day, right? I'm having difficulty picking one, but I am going to pick three,
Mm,
and that'll lighten the load. That's going to be our biggest giveaway, I guess. So think about what my favorite day was.
mm.
Brandon, you want to get in this pot too?
So let people think what was my favorite day.
What was Brandon's favorite?
Yeah, let's do
Right?
it. Let's do it.
Um, and we'll give you three shots at it. You can guess. You can take three guess as long as that one favorite is in there. And this is the first person that gets it in and gets it right. Right. So we'll go over the rules tonight. Nonetheless, just come back, rock with us, bring somebody to the barbecue with you. You know, let's do it. Let's do it. We're celebrating 100 days of
100.
daily motivations for African American success. All right. So come back and rock with us. Thank you, B. That's all I have. Y'all enjoyed the happy hours going before you. All right.
All right, y'all. Love y'all
Okay.
so much. We appreciate y'all. Do you want me to go through the spiel at the end?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's
Let's
do
do
it.
it.
All right, I'll
Mhm.
run through really quick, guys, because I know we're a little
Okay.
bit over time. Today, May 10th, the title was Happy Hour from Dennis Kimbro's Daily Motivations for African American Success. Happy Hour, question mark. And the quote came from Stevie Wonder, singer and entertainer and icon. Before I ride with a drunk, he said, I'll drive myself. That's coming from a man who is visually impaired. And the affirmation that we read 3 times One for me, one for you, and one for the person that you're going to invite to later tonight, the 100th day celebration. Is only I am in control of my life. I will take full responsibility for my circumstances. Only I am in control of my life. I will take full responsibility for my circumstances. And last time, only I am in control of my life. I will take full responsibility for my circumstances. All right, thank y'all so much. We look forward to seeing you and celebrating with you tonight at the 100th day happy hour celebration of the In This Season podcast. That's all we have for y'all. We'll see you later on. Love y'all.
All right. Love y'all. Peace.